He was a unique boxer, able to crush his opponents in seconds and had incredible punching power. In addition, he had outstanding charisma and was very popular with the fans. Today we will talk about a sensational comeback in boxing history, and how George Foreman became an inspiration and an example that the impossible is possible. His record has not been broken to this day.
Now he's conning himself. He cannot separate the fantasy and the reality.
Boxing Smart Money says George Foreman's comeback is a fraud.
That is not a fact, what you're saying. The fact is, I can become heavyweight champion of the world if I want to at any age.
Tomorrow night, veteran boxer George Foreman will put on the gloves and climb back into the ring after almost a decade in retirement.
But let's go in order. I propose to first go back 10 years ago. In 1977, after losing to Jimmy Young at the age of 28, George Foreman decided to retire from professional boxing. For 10 years, he didn't clench his fists, he didn't box, he quit everything. He became a preacher at the Church of Jesus Christ in Houston. Everyone around thought that Foreman had gone crazy. Even his own mother offered to send him to a sanatorium. But everything was quite simple. He could no longer fight.
I'd found me, really found myself, and I was ordained an evangelist at the Church of Lord Jesus Christ.
He became a preacher and began preaching in his hometown of Houston. Foreman's life changed for the better, and the most beautiful thing was that he recognized the ability of Muhammad Ali, accepted that defeat, set up a corner of boxing glory at home, treated Ali with the respect he deserved. In 1984, he founded the Youth Center, a non-denominational place for children in need of guidance. Foreman spent all his money on the Youth Center. He had to travel around the country and speak in support of his fundraising center. Foreman began to feel like a failure. It was from that moment that George began to think about how to provide not only children from the center, but also his own family. One fine day, he firmly decided that he would not ask for more money, so he told himself. In 1987, after a 10-year break, George decides to return to big boxing and become world heavyweight champion.
That is not a fact, what you're saying. The fact is, I can become heavyweight champion of the world if I want to at any age.
Everyone around thought it was a prank. Everyone thought it was some kind of joke. The news was the main event of the newspaper headlines. Everyone thought that the return would be a failure.
People just don't come back after 10 years and perform at the highest levels of their craft.
First of all, Foreman took up his physical training. At the very beginning, when he began to run long distances, he simply walked around the yard, counting circles with coins. After all, 143 kilograms was somehow too much. March 9, 1987, George Foreman, contrary to all opinions, returns to the ring. It wasn't quite the hot young George anymore. He shaved his head on his bald head, gained several kilograms of weight, improved his defensive skills, and began to box more melodically. He began to smile more. He started from the bottom. From the little league from the very beginning, he is back at the front of the line again. Steve Zuski becomes his first opponent after the break. During the year, he wins 5 early victories. In the next 1988 to 9 early victories, including a victory over the famous ex-champion light heavyweight Dwight Muhammad Qawi. The winning streak continued. In 1989, Foreman defeated the famous slugger Bert Cooper. After the second round, Cooper refused to continue the fight. It is worth noting an early victory over the Great White Hope in the person of Jerry Cooney and a few more quick triumphs. In total, after returning, George consistently won 24 victories, of which 22 were by knockout. Success and popularity brought great opportunities to the 42-year-old Foreman. He got a chance to meet in the ring with the undisputed world champion Evander Holyfield.
I'm just a big old baby boomer, and I'm gonna load a boom on that baby, Evander Holyfield.
April 19th, 1991, in Atlantic City, the long-awaited duel took place. Experience versus youth. Holyfield's record was flawless, 25 wins, 21 knockouts, with no losses at all. But George's record looked no less awesome, 69 wins and 65 of them by knockout, only 2 defeats. Few people bet on the victory of 42-year-old Foreman. The only person who knocked Foreman out was the legendary Muhammad Ali, who greeted his longtime opponent in the ring before starting the fight with Evander.
That's all right. I know. Good luck to both of them this time.
Probably in prayer. You saw the little smile almost.
The fight began immediately in a forceful manner.
As Foreman has his arms crossed.
Notably, trainer George Benton.
Holyfield acted in his own style and worked as the second number.
We're seeing Holyfield more on the balls
right to the chest.
Foreman went forward, using a double elbow guard to block off the champion's smashing attacks.
Doubling up on the jab and scoring
fighters to watch the elbows, particularly Foreman.
And Foreman lands Big George's power and pepper away. Chopping. Butting left hand from Foreman and Holyfield.
Evander tried not to let George hit with his left hand, because if this happened, then the right hand, which was like a jackhammer, immediately flew to the target.
Communicates to his opponent. You can see
at a time. That's not what his corner wants. They want to see 3 or 4. Left, right, left by Holyfield, and a left and a right, and Foreman's in serious trouble. Bell makes.
Here's the beginning of that difficult.
Under the stands, near the ring. Foreman was busy mostly in the last bit. The big man wobbling a little bit as Holyfield steps back up.
One who will take a point away.
For low blow.
Low blow.
Jab, coming with the right, the left hook to the body.
Great run. I'm making $12 million. I'm a little amazed that Foreman, at this age, is taking.
The crowd gets excited. Holyfield comes back to the ring. We're into the second half. But now Holyfield stops. Holyfield lands a vicious left to the ribs and a left to the jaw and turns things around again. Another left hook. And
George withstood about 15 clean hits from the champion. The crazy round has come to an end.
Round 7, 50% of their punches in the round.
You just have to salute George Foreman
for this event, but we're in round 8. He's won.
Holyfield realized that he could not topple a powerful enemy. He began to knit Foreman's hands in the clinch, and when he broke the distance, he actively worked with his front hand.
A solid right hand has stunned George Foreman. He can't be saved by the bell.
Oh, you know.
The bell, but he isn't going to go down either.
For what Foreman is doing, but also an appreciation.
George failed to become a world champion in this fight, but he proved to everyone that he is capable of competing at the highest level. Despite the defeat, Big George surprised everyone with his excellent form and the fact that he survived the whole fight, losing on points. After the fight, Foreman said that even at 42, you can achieve your goals. Although Foreman lost the fight, he still gained something much more valuable. He won the hearts of the audience. After that, George had several more successful fights, and in 1993 he lost to Tommy Morrison on points. Morrison moved a lot and periodically managed to apply accurate short combinations. After this defeat, George took a short break, starring in a short television series and having worked as a commentator on HBO. But a year and a half later, Foreman goes to fight against Michael Moorer for the World Heavyweight title. Moorer was considered the favorite. The age difference between the boxers was almost 19 years. Many did not want him to go to this fight. This is exactly what happened. These words were a prophecy from Foreman.
I worked with George at that time, and for months prior to the fight, I would say to him, George, how are you even going to find Moorer? Holyfield couldn't find him, and Holyfield's much more mobile and much more of a mover in the ring than you are. And, this guy's a southpaw, doesn't move in a conventional way. He's 26 years old, he's quicker than you are. I just don't understand exactly what is the plan. And George said to me, you watch. Late in the fight, at some point, he'll come and stand in front of me and allow me to knock him out.
Yeah, in Las Vegas. The Bronx and the South. It's a decent cross, rather ominously, not quite full head and not stand still waiting for people.
Moorer started the fight superbly, delivering quick blows to the target.
Taking a shot, then championship of the world on the line. Max tracks. George looked for it. In fact, George has spent it. He says it's relaxed muscle.
Foreman, on the other hand, stuck to his intended goal of taking Moorer by surprise.
Place. Big up the world title fight. Still looks like he's their best round so far. Big Angelo and Charlie.
George was not in a hurry. He continued to hit the punches and waited for the right moment.
Cross. George has got no defense against it. They're keeping Michael on his back with his own right hand. That's a good shot.
Moorer led round after round. Many around began to realize that it was hopeless. A miracle would not happen. But Foreman adhered to the intended tactics. He did not need to win the rounds. He needed to knock him out.
Well, and sawing seamlessly, mate. The jab is beautiful. Short distances, as long as he's got a bit of left in breathing. His legacy slightly tough.
By the beginning of the 9th round, it was clear that only a knockout would help Foreman to win. After all the talk, after all George Foreman's predictions, in the 10th round Big George delivered a powerful right hand, and everyone saw how Moorer fell to the canvas, after which he failed to rise to the count of 10.
Needs to go back to working. That's it! It's a short right hand! Joe Cortez finishes the count of 10. George Foreman looks up at the heavens. He is once again.
He regained the title he lost 20 years ago. George received the Comeback of the Year award as well as Knockout of the Year. At the same time, he became the oldest world heavyweight champion. His record has not been broken to this day. Everything that he repeated for several months came true. Some critics argued that Foreman was too old for boxing and that his comeback was too risky. But Foreman ignored them. He was so confident in his abilities that he decided to take a chance and try to regain his world title. And he achieved it. For many boxers, George Foreman has become an inspiration and an example that the impossible is possible. He showed that age is not an obstacle to achieving goals and that hard work and perseverance will always be rewarded.